Welcome back, students. Let us start new point of elasticity of demand, part 4, factors influencing elasticity of demand. Factors influencing elasticity of demand. So here we will discuss which factors are responsible for the change in elasticity of demand. Number 1, nature of the commodity. By nature, we can classify commodities as necessaries, comforts and luxury goods. Demand for necessaries like food grains, medicines, textbooks, etc. are relatively inelastic. That means we don't change our demand because they are necessary for our life. So we don't change. Whatever is the price, we pay and we purchase. And demand for comforts and luxuries like cars, perfumes, furnitures is relatively elastic. When the price of these luxury goods or comfortable goods are going up and down, we change our demand according to the price. So in case of necessities, demand is relatively inelastic, and in case of comforts and luxuries, demand is relatively elastic. Second point, availability of substitutes. Demand for a commodity will be more elastic if its close substitute is available in the market. For example, lemon juice or sugarcane juice. If the price of lemon juice is very high and price of sugarcane juice is less, people will demand more sugarcane juice than the lemon juice because the substitute is available. You can take so many examples like prices of soap, prices of cosmetic goods. We always compare with the substitute and we change our demand. And when the substitute is not available, then demand is inelastic. For example, demand for salt. Demand for salt is relatively inelastic because for the salt there is no other substitute. So this is second point. Third point, number of uses. Single use goods have an elastic demand and multi-use goods have more elastic demand. So that means, for example, electricity, right? Electricity has various uses. We are using electricity at home for various purposes. When the price of electricity is going up, we reduce our consumption. Next, habits. Habits makes demand for certain goods relatively inelastic. For example, addicted goods, drugs, etc. Sometimes people have that, they are addicted to have that liquor or cigarette or drugs. So in their case, demand is inelastic. Whatever is the price, they pay and they purchase. Next, durability. The demand for durable goods. Durable means which remains for a long time. The demand for a durable good is relatively elastic. For example, furniture, washing machine, etc. And demand for perishable goods. Perishable means which exhaust after the consumption. Demand for perishable goods is inelastic. For example, milk, vegetable, eggs, fish. These are the durable goods. So we have to demand will be inelastic in that case, right? So in case of durable goods, demand is relatively elastic, and in case of perishable goods, demand is inelastic. Next, complementary goods. The demand for a commodity which is used in conjunction with other commodities to satisfy a single want is relatively inelastic. For example, a fall in the price of mobile handset may lead to rise in the demand for SIM card. So both are complementary to each other. Bread and jam, bread and butter, shoes and socks and lace, pen and ink, these are considered as a complementary goods. Next, income of the consumer. Demand for the goods is usually inelastic if the consumer has higher income, and the demand pattern of very rich and extremely poor person is rarely affected by significant changes in the price. For example, if the price of sugar is falling, the demand for sugar for the rich people is not going to change at all, right? So it is in case of rich people, and in case of poor people, it rarely affected by the significant changes in the price. Next, urgency of needs. Goods which are urgently needed will have relatively inelastic demand. For example, medicine for the patient, and the luxury goods which are less urgent have relatively elastic demand. For the students, demand for textbook, we can say when you have exam, demand for pen, they are relatively inelastic. Next, time period. Elasticity of demand is always related to a period of time. It varies means it changes with the length of time period. Generally speaking, longer the duration of period, greater will be the elasticity of demand, and vice versa. This is because consumer can change the consumption habit in the long run in favor of cheaper substitutes of the commodity. So according to time period, demand, the elasticity is changing. So these are the 9 factors which are responsible for influencing the elasticity of demand. Students' question can be, explain the factors influencing elasticity of demand. You have to give all the 9 points. As I mentioned earlier, that pointers are very important. All the points you have to give and explain in 1 or 2 lines. Thank you very much.